Just the other day, we made a video going over a post left by Tim Hardaway Sr. and some comments on Instagram that alluded to the fact that he, as well as his son, may both feel like it's a time to leave Dallas. And followed with that, there were some reports showing that the Dallas Mavericks were actively shopping Tim Hardaway Sr. And now we might have an idea of the team and the player that the Dallas Mavericks are going after. So in this video, we're going to break down all those reports, see if this player even fits our team, and if not, who should we actually be going after? But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. Before we get started with today's video, 8.8% of you guys have the notification bell ring. It's the off season, but it's not my off season. I'm bringing you guys content every single day covering everything Mavericks related. And if you don't want to miss out on a single thing that we do, make sure you ring that notification bell so you can be up to date on every single video. But like I said in the intro, Tim Hardaway Jr., a player who's just been giving us great moments with the Dallas Mavericks, with high highs, low lows, and everything in between. But we did see this past season after the trade deadline, Tim Hardaway Jr.'s role with the team got smaller and smaller, where eventually in the playoffs, he was racking up DNPs left, right, and center to the point where he was just unplayable. I mean, in contrast, he did have that amazing game 4 where he hit like 5 threes in garbage time all in the fourth quarter. But even that wasn't enough to just keep Tim Hardaway Jr. for a little bit longer. It looks like the team is ready to move on from Tim Hardaway. But like I said in the intro the other day, there was an Instagram post posted by his father to his father's page, just giving his son props, just saying, hey, you didn't win this year, but there's always next year. I'm so proud of you. Doing what a proud father should do. And in the comment section, somebody left this comment saying they shipping him out after this season. Tim Hardaway Sr. went and responded saying, yes, they are. And we want to have a new opportunity to shine. We didn't like what happened. We are ready to go. So I've always been under the assumption that Tim Hardaway Jr. and how he feels is separate from the way his father feels. His father talks a lot, says so much more than what his son says. You would think that his father is his actual agent. But in this post, he's saying we a whole lot. So it's safe to say that maybe he and his father both feel the same way. And if so, props to Timmy for not letting it show. Props to Timmy for still showing up, giving his all, whether it was a great performance or a bad performance. Timmy you never really heard any rumblings from Tim Hardaway Jr. You always heard it from his father. Maybe his father was his mouthpiece. I'll give Tim Hardaway Jr. all the credit that he did play like a professional. He acted like a professional while on the team. But the truth of the matter is, if it's time to go, it's time to go. His dad feels it. Tim Hardaway Jr. may also feel it. And the reports came out saying that the Mavericks are shopping Tim Hardaway Jr. in hopes of finding a rotational upgrade. Hardaway, who will be on a $16.2 million expiring contract, was phased out of Dallas rotation in the playoffs. And that $16.2 million contract is a little bit more enticing than what people think. A lot of people think, well, who's going to take Tim Hardaway? He's not hitting his threes at a high clip. He's a shell of who he once was. At $16 million, who wants that? It's the fact that it's an expiring contract. You take him this year, you let the contract expire, you don't owe him nothing. That's $16 million of free cap space that teams can use to go out and get another player or use that towards another player's salary. So even though Tim Hardaway as the player may not be valuable, his expiring contract will be very, very valuable. But there are some reports that the trade target for Tim Hardaway Jr. may have been revealed, as the Washington Wizards are the favorites to win the Tim Hardaway Jr. sweepstakes. Yes, they are calling the Tim Hardaway Jr. trade a sweepstakes, because if we're being honest, who wouldn't want a player who can hit 5 threes in a finals game in one quarter alone? Who wouldn't want a player who was the Dallas Mavericks' second or third scoring option not that long ago? I think people have been too down on Tim Hardaway Jr. He's worth at least 3 first-round picks, in my honest opinion. And if we look at the teams with the highest odds, the Washington Wizards sit atop with the best odds to get Tim Hardaway, followed by the Atlanta Hawks, the Detroit Pistons, the LA Lakers, Portland Trail Blazers, Brooklyn Nets, and Milwaukee Bucks. And when I first saw this, like, okay, cool. Washington Wizards, a lot of people have been saying they want Corey Kispert, someone who I'm very high on, who I think would be a great player to come off the bench for this team, provides great scoring, very good with the catch and shoot, would definitely help us on the offense, something that we're desperately needing an upgrade for, right? The Atlanta Hawks, maybe DeAndre Hunter, maybe Sadiq Bey. The Detroit Pistons, I don't know, Tim Hardaway Jr. for Cade Cunningham, seems fair to me. The Los Angeles Lakers, I was thinking maybe we get Rui Hachimura. Maybe we can just package Tim with maybe Jaden Hardy or Josh Green. Try to get one of their rotational pieces. I would love Jared Vanderbilt from the Lakers. I think his defense and his limited scoring would definitely help this team out in certain moments with different lineups. With the Portland Trail Blazers, we've talked about Matisse Thybulle, Malcolm Brogdon, and Jeremy Grant as players that could potentially be traded to the Dallas Mavericks this offseason. And for the Brooklyn Nets, I'll give you Tim Hardaway Jr. for Dorian Finney-Smith. Bring him home. He's a Maverick for life. He doesn't belong in Brooklyn. He belongs in Dallas. And as far as the Milwaukee Bucks, I heard there was a few rumblings between the Milwaukee Bucks and Malik Beasley, where Malik Beasley may not return to the team, as well as the Milwaukee Bucks may actually be looking to trade Pat Connaughton, another player that the Dallas Mavericks could use off the bench. But none of those players that I just mentioned were actually trade targets, as it was also revealed that the Mavericks are showing trade interest in Wizards guard Landry Shamet, according to Mike Escato. Wizards reserve guard Landry Shamet has also drawn exploratory trade interest from several teams, including the Clippers, Lakers, Mavericks, Jazz, Raptors, and Magic. So it's safe to say that we're not the only ones that are checking on Landry Shamet. A few teams as well, some rebuilding teams like the Raptors, some competing teams like the Orlando Magic or even the Los Angeles Clippers are trying to find just another guard to come off the bench, provide some type of playmaking and scoring, I guess. And if we just take a quick look at Landry Shamet's numbers, nothing really pops out at me. I would argue that I personally would feel better with keeping Tim Hardaway Jr. in all honesty. But if we were to trade Tim Hardaway Jr. for Landry Shamet, we're getting somebody to come off the bench as a 6'4 guard, putting up 7 points a game, 1.3 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 0.2 blocks, 0.5 steals, 0.7 turnovers, 1.7 fouls per game, averaging 43% from the floor and 33% from three. He's a 6'4 guard, 27 years old. He shoots 41% on corner threes. 92% of his threes are assisted, and 57% of all shots are threes. And I'm just not sold on this for someone to come off the bench. Again, I'd rather keep Tim Hardaway Jr. At least I know that on any given day, he can shoot the lights out, or I just got to put him on the bench, and that's fine. And I'd also like to see more from Jaden Hardy. If we're going to try to find a backup guard, why aren't we looking for Jaden Hardy? If this is the best backup guard we can find in the open market, I don't want it. I don't want to trade. I don't want to trade for Landry Shamet to put up 7-1-1 when I'd argue that Jaden Hardy is at the cusp of becoming a much better player in this league to become our actual backup guard, where we got Dante Exum as our third ball handler, but Jaden Hardy's on the rise. I'm just saying, I think Jaden Hardy and even Tim Hardaway Jr. would be better than Landry Shamet. But if that's the player that we are going to trade for, how does that work? We have Dante Exum, like I said, as our third ball handler. Landry Shamet, he would probably just have to be a shooting guard. Maybe he gets open. Maybe he hits a few shots. If you look at Landry Shamet's stats from when he was on the Clippers, he was a much better player. Where on the Washington Wizards, he doesn't really have the same opportunity to score and be as productive. So maybe the Dallas Mavericks and Nico Harrison think that, hey, if Landry Shamet is on a team where you always get open shots, maybe you can actually score a little bit more. Your averages kind of go up. I'm not too sure what his actual duties would be on the team, whether you are a ball handler or you're just another scoring option. And again, off the bench, I think Josh Green's a better option than Landry Shamet. I think Jaden Hardy's also a better option than Landry Shamet. So is Landry Shamet really the player that we should be looking for off the Wizards? And if we're trading Tim Hardaway Jr. for Landry Shamet, there should be something else bundled with that. If anything, I mean, I don't think a 1-and-1 trade should get the job done for Tim Hardaway Jr. I think you got to give me something else. But if we are going to do a deal with the Washington Wizards, then maybe, just maybe, the trade should look a little something like this, as we take a look right here. A little trade that I cooked up. I put my GM jacket on, and I put this on the community page where a ton of you guys were loving it. You were grading it an A+, an S tier trade, which I worked very hard to cook these trades up for you, so I appreciate all the praise. But GM Marcel walked up in the lab and said, look, if I'm going to give you Tim Hardaway Jr.'s expiring contract, you're obviously going to want some draft picks. I'm not too sold on giving you a first-round draft pick, but I'll give you 2 second-round draft picks. I know I just gave Jaden Hardy a whole lot of praise, but I don't want to give up Josh Green, so I'll give you Jaden Hardy. And in return, you give me Denny Avdija and Corey Kispert. I mean, the trade went through. It says success. I'm all for it. But in all seriousness, maybe a trade like this isn't what gets the job done. I'm no expert here. I'm just a chair. A chair GM. That's what I'm doing here, right? But these are the players we should be targeting. Denny Avdija is a player that the Dallas Mavericks could definitely need off the bench. I said earlier, Corey Kispert is a player who's very good at scoring on his own, being able to put the ball on the floor, getting up, catch and shoot shots, or catch and shoot threes, as well as being able to create his own shot, and just have that scoring option off the bench. I think if in some alternate universe, if this trade actually goes through, the Dallas Mavericks can come out on top. We actually have some depth with something like this. But the reality is, if we really do want to get a player like Denny Avdija or Corey Kispert, we're probably going to have to include a first-round pick. You send Tim Hardaway Jr. over, for the salary dump, really. And you really may have to move either Jaden Hardy, Josh Green, or Omax. And I know a lot of people are not sold on trading Omax. We definitely want to see how he develops. Jaden Hardy, like I said, I feel like he's on the cusp of becoming a great player. He's just right there. I think this year is the year, if given the opportunity, not just in garbage time, but actual rotational minutes, Jaden Hardy can show us that next step that he's ready to reach. But if you have to trade Josh Green, I want something else back, because out of those 3 young guys, Josh Green is someone who I think is good long term. Jaden Hardy, I feel like, is right there. And like I said, Omax is just getting ready to show us what his development has taught him. But the truth of the matter is, we can't have too many young guys that are developing, right? We got Derrick Lively, who is developing very fast, who's becoming a great young player for us. We're starting to see the emergence of Josh Green and how he could be a good rotational piece for us. Jaden Hardy, we're still waiting to see it. Omax is still cooking. So how many young guys does the Dallas Mavericks need that still need development versus getting younger talent, but they're ready to help us compete now? Those are all the questions that Nico Harrison has to answer. Thankfully, I'm not getting paid to do that, because Lord knows, if I propose that trade, I'd probably get fired. But you guys let me know down in the comment section down below. Do you think that Landry Shamet is a player we should go after? Or maybe the trade that I cooked up is something that we should actually explore? But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for making this far to the video. Check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing another giveaway at the beginning of July. The only way to enter our giveaway is to become a channel member. But until next time, y'all take care. Drink water. Peace.